Now, our next guests are here to chat about a charity that offers help to people when they least expect it, but they really do need it.
We're joined by Susan Daly, whose daughter Olivia has defied all odds, and we have Brendan Ring as well, who is co-founder of Cliona Foundation, an organisation that helps families in need. Guys, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Susan, if I can start with you, if you just take us back maybe 4 years and you woke up in the middle of the night.
Yes, it's almost 4 years now, Dahi. It was the 19th of December 2013. We woke to hear Olivia crying, a very strange cry, and both Colin, my husband, and myself jumped out of bed. And we went in, and what greeted us was quite shocking, to be honest. Olivia was vomiting, severely vomiting blood, and she was extremely distressed, as you can imagine. So we were shocked. We didn't really know what to do. So we just sort of went into autopilot, I think. We grabbed her out of bed, got her older brother out of bed, Christian, and rushed to the CUH as fast as we could.
Yeah. What was behind I do know that beforehand she had a lot of stomach bugs and all that, so you had an inkling there was something wrong. But what was the reason behind this internal bleed? Yeah,
we discovered the next day, Maura, that Olivia had what was called esophageal varices, and they likened it to a varicose vein on your leg. But unfortunately it was internal where Olivia was concerned. She had quite a few of them. We were unaware of this, and it actually, the main one that had been there, it actually burst and it caused this huge internal bleed.
Oh my God. What happened after that then?
We rushed into the A&E and they were amazing. They just sprang into action. It was a very dodgy few hours. She was really, really unwell. They couldn't stop the bleeding. They didn't know where it was coming from. And eventually, just through trial and error, they found out. So the next morning, when they managed to slow it and to give her, I suppose, some stability, she was actually sitting up singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at 8 o'clock in the morning and asking for Rice Krispies. And I wondered if we'd dreamed it all. But that wasn't the case, obviously. So later on that day, we discovered that Olivia had an extremely large mass on her liver and that things were very wrong.
Okay, so at this stage then, she had to be sent to the UK?
Initially, we went to Crumlin just for them to do, she had 2 surgeries between the 19th and Christmas Day, the 25th, to stop the bleeding, because I say there was quite a lot of these varices there when they investigated in Dublin. So they had to get the bleeding under control and stabilise her. And then they gave us the news that because it was such an unusual liver tumour, they needed the expertise of King's College Hospital in London.
My God, when you hear of your daughter, your liver and tumours, you must have been going crazy.
Yeah, we're kind of in a daze, to be honest. For a few days, we didn't really... I don't even recall that much about those few days. I think we were just in shock.
What age was she?
She just turned 4 in November.
Okay, so she just looked beautiful.
Yeah.
A beautiful child. Now, thankfully, she's doing well now, but in between all that, you had to go to the UK, and there was a long road there, so you had to go with her.
Yes.
You know, she was a small child. You were literally by her bedside for how long?
The longest single admission she had was 4.5 months.
Goodness.
My God almighty.
That wasn't nice.
It's a very expensive process. I mean, it's not just the trauma of your child being really ill, but when you kind of come down from that and there's ongoing medical attention needed, the money is being drained. It's not just your child is being drained in every way, but you're draining, hemorrhaging money as well.
Exactly, and it's the last thing that should be on your mind. You shouldn't be thinking about your bills, your mortgage. But you have to survive when you go to London.
And you're away from your family.
You're away from all your support network. You know, Colin had to stay here. He had to pay the bills. He had to work. He had to carry on the routine for Christian. And you know, we were split down the middle, and it was extremely difficult. And you do worry about money. You don't want to, but you have to. But you do. It's a fact of life. Exactly.
Now, Brendan, we spoke to you before, and of course, your Cliona Foundation is a charity that you set up. Was it in 2007?
Correct, 2007.
After the death of your beautiful daughter.
Cliona, that's right, And we also spent just 4 months with Cliona at the very end of her life here in Cork. So we got to understand exactly what Susan went through as well.
And remind us again of what your charity does for people like Susan.
Basically, we provide financial support for families all throughout Ireland, 32 counties, to help them with the non-medical expenses. So they are the expenses, they're the hidden costs that we don't see.
Hotels and
accommodation, and which all add up. They're huge costs. And also, a lot of the parents, like Terry and Susan, they have to stop working, so that income is now gone as well. So we try and supplement that. We pay bills at home, like the oil bill and stuff like
that.
Practical stuff. And this year we're trying to get kids home but we've got to get money for them because we need to pay oil bills so the home is comfortable to get them out of hospital. So that's why we're kind of here to appeal to help those children.
When did you come across Susan's story?
It was 2 years ago now.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And like, we make it very simple, to be honest with you. We have to, because you don't want to go through all this red tape because you need immediate support. We understand that. We were through the process. So we got a letter from Susan. It's backed up by her consultant's letter. Obviously, it's a horrendous situation as well. But we identified with it and we understand that. So basically, a letter comes in, a consultant tells you the condition of the child. We get together and we write a check and we send it straight out.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, because these days it's even very difficult the way the world has gone in the last number of years to even get loans.
Absolutely.
So that's another issue.
And being honest about it, unfortunately, there are so many families in this situation every day of the year in Ireland, and there is no government support there. There is nothing. You genuinely are forgotten about, and you really are left to fend for yourself. So I will always remember the day that this envelope, I didn't know it was the cheque at the time that the envelope came in the door. And I remember opening it and thinking, a Limerick postmark, I don't know anybody in Limerick. And I opened the letter. Yeah, I was thinking it was another bill, some collection agency or something. And I opened it and I just burst into tears. I had this lovely letter from Terry and Brendan and this cheque for €1,500 from people I had never met. I was just stunned, absolutely stunned.
So did you actually heard of her situation? Is this what happened, or how?
Yeah, we did. We heard of her situation.
Isn't that amazing?
Is this the first time
so you kind of reached out.
This
haven't met. It's the first time you
actually
physically met.
Oh, it's very difficult to. We've helped over 465 families like Susan, and look, you do get to meet some parents that you kind of engage with, but it's a difficult process because everybody's going through a tough time. It reminds us where we were at, which we have to be reminded, but it's a difficult time. So we don't meet because there's so many families. But it's great to meet today. It's fantastic. And that Olivia's doing so well.
Yes,
that's
especially
important.
when she is doing so well.
It's amazing that she is. Of course, sadly, Cliona, you lost Cliona.
Yeah.
She was was she 15?
Yeah, she died 11 years on Saturday.
Yeah, and she had an inoperable tumour, is that right?
Yeah, she had a brain tumour and like that. She also had a shunts, and she has come to Cork quite a lot, but she had a very serious operation at the very end of 2006, and as I said, she was basically in a coma for 4 months, and she didn't make it, so...
It's a very brave thing to do, though, to kind of reach out to others.
After
your own loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's true in some sense, but then there's a great sense of helping others, and look, Cliona would want us to do something like that. She was gorgeous, and we still miss her, and it's in her memory that we're doing this as well. But we really, really realise how difficult life is, and
look, because you went through it yourself, Brendan.
Yeah, we did.
You went through that hardship. As in, who's going to pay for the aisle? Who's going to pay for even the parking inside the hospital?
Because I remember us discussing even how much parking costs, very basic things.
Absolutely.
We had one family spent €4,000 on parking. It's huge. Yeah, one family.
Yeah. Now, I know while you were over with your daughter in the UK, that your son was born with a very serious condition.
Yes, Christian unfortunately was born with a condition called hydrocephalus.
Yes. Explain what that is. Is the brain?
He was born with a blockage in his brain, where his body wasn't able to pump cerebral spinal fluid around, just like everybody can. And I found out when I was 20 weeks pregnant that he had hydrocephalus. I'd never heard of it. So obviously the remainder of that pregnancy was quite harrowing, trying to make sure that he would go full term, we would give him the best chance. And he was born early, and at 6 days old, so he was still 5 weeks early at that stage, he had his first neurosurgery in the CUH, and that was terrifying. And as Brendan and I were discussing earlier, shunt revisions, unfortunately, which is the shunt device in his head, pumps the fluid around, and touch wood, it's working well at the moment. But they're very pernickety things, and they can just give up at a moment's notice and for no apparent reason. So Christian actually had 9 neurosurgeries before he reached the age of 3.
That's freezing,
so we sort of thought we'd had our share.
You've had your share. I know, but you never know. But
you don't. No.
Thank God now your daughter's doing well.
Liv is doing well.
She is. She's looking forward to her first Holy Communion, and Christian will be making.
Of course, Santa's coming. Santa, don't forget Santa.
Yeah, that was a rare trip out together there during the summer over to Shirkin Island. So we just love doing the normal things, you know.
And may you continue doing that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you on behalf of, I'm sure, every other family. You've helped all those 400 plus families over the years. But we'll have to put the details, of course, cleonasfoundation.ie. We'll put all the details on our Facebook page. You can also email information@cleonasfoundation.ie or call 061 331 333, and we'll put those on our Facebook page, RTE Today. And as Kieran said, or as Brendan said, we do need money for the foundation, because especially at this time of the year and kids in hospital over the Christmas. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.